Hey y'all, we're back at it again for another episode of What's Your Op? I'm
Hey, and I'm Noyae.
And today...
Yeah, we gonna introduce you?
Thank you. Can I introduce my guest on my show? Thanks.
Do your thing.
But it's like, no. Today our topic is interracial couples. This is my cousin. He is in town from Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Let's just clarify that I'm from Philly
He
all
is
day.
from Philly, but he currently lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so he's in town from there.
Yes.
He also dates a white woman, and we thought since he was in town that we get it going on this little spicy topic. 'Cause, you know, everybody had this kind of discussion before, so we gonna get up close and personal on you know, the inside scoop.
And his name is Brandon. Did we say his name?
No, y'all
Did you
didn't say my
his
name. That's why
His name is, I was
Brandon.
gonna let him say his own name, but you know,
Excuse me.
Yeah.
got
Well,
I'll sit back and do my
Introduce
job and
yourself.
play with
all
the
right.
knobs.
So my name is Brandon. You can follow me on Instagram at sweater_king if you're not busy. If you are.
Why you ain't
follow
wearing
me.
no sweater, bro? It's the summertime,
It's
but
hot. I'm not trying to
you
pass
still
out.
be wearing sweaters
Right,
all
right,
day
right.
long. Like
Right.
you like
Especially
you
when
like
you
Cliff
live in
Huxtable
Florida.
and shit.
I
with
know.
the
I
sweater.
can't wait. I'm waiting to the fall, to the weather break. Woo! 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 It's like,
Throw that fire on them.
yeah, pretty much.
So
That's
just
funny.
to get a little bit of background on your relationship, how long have you been with your girlfriend?
I've been with her for September 3rd. Will make 5 years.
Wow.
Dang, really?
Yeah, it's been a
Sheesh.
minute. It's been a grip. But yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's
So,
dope.
where y'all meet at?
So we met at Walt Disney World, believe it or not. So people were like, well,
Fairy
yeah, that's what
tale
people, yeah, right? So we met in 2013 when I got accepted to work at Disney World as an intern, and we both basically met there. We followed each other on Instagram maybe like 2 or 3 weeks before I got down there. And I didn't know she was feeling somebody, and I already had somebody, you know. And then it just ended up working out for the best.
For some reason, I felt like we might not be recording. I don't know.
Oh,
In my mind.
is it recording?
Nah, go ahead.
Okay. So so we met down there. We met August 16th to be exact, but we didn't start dating till September 3rd, or it's when we made things official. And we've been together for the most part ever since. You know, no relationship is
still your
perfect.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, no relationship is perfect. We had like our little ups and downs, minor like kinks in a row, but we, for the most part, 5 years. So.
Made your way back. So, when you first started thinking like, oh, I actually think I like her, like on like, you know, that type of time. You know, we from Philly. You know, we all date just, you know, basically primarily we all date just other black people.
Yeah.
So we don't other really date outside of race. So like for you in that moment, did you feel like kind of scared, or did you feel like
Was there
this
any
different?
hesitation?
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily like hesitation, like in the beginning. But then it's like when you start like
When it gets
meeting
serious.
it gets serious, and you
Oh,
start
so
meeting
you
the
thought you were
parents.
just hitting it at first?
I thought I was raised like, hey, you like whoever like you type of thing. You treat each person accordingly the way they
Right.
treat you. So when I was like, okay, we cool, we vibe and everything, and it wasn't until I guess was about to meet her parents in my brain, I was like, I'm a little
like,
nervous.
ooh, it's
like,
getting real.
I don't really
like-
know. Yeah, I don't really know and everything. And then, but you know, shout out to her parents. They're awesome. So I was
Get
like,
lit.
okay, yeah. Once you kind of get past that whole like black-white thing, like what you have, like all the stereotypes, it kind of makes things a little bit easier.
Because
So.
ultimately, you know, we're all people. Like, it's really no difference. The difference is the way people think.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everybody thinks differently than the next person. Well, not everybody, but there are groups of people who think differently than other groups of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple. And I know going into that situation, like meeting parents and things like that, you would think like, okay, one, they already ain't supposed to like me because I'm a guy dating their daughter.
Yeah.
But now here I am coming in all chocolate and whatnot.
And they probably never would have thought their daughter would date a black
Especially
guy.
not living in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
well, that's another like, I guess generalization too, is because they're kind of like how we were, like, yo, you love who you love, you like who you like type of thing. And I don't know what they were thinking per se, but from what I know now, it's like you like who you like, you love who you love type of thing. So that would just clear that up, because I understand what y'all saying, because that's how people are like, oh, and then people like Oklahoma,
like, shit, and then other people, like, you would think that the parents would just be like, out of all the white people in Oklahoma,
right,
there is, if we would get the one special, beautiful special child,
you know, that chocolate when it comes through,
that just like stuff just a little more sweet than the rest, a little more chocolate than the rest of it. Cool though.
Yeah, but you know what? Look, she
a little bit more mellow.
And it's also interesting too, because like she dated, like, you know, white people, of course. I dated black people.
I was gonna say, are you the first black guy she's ever dated?
The first real relationship, yes.
Okay.
She kind of like had this little thing. I'm telling all of this is all okay. She kind of had like
on the internet.
Yeah, she kind of had this like thing with somebody, but never. It wasn't. It was kind of more so platonic rather than like.
It was practice for you.
Yeah. That's a good one. Ooh. But yeah, so I'm the first like real serious, like real like in depth like kind of person, so black person. So yeah.
Okay. So did you ever encounter any type of stereotypes, like while y'all are out, or like anything like that?
Like racism?
Like no, like just stereotypes of like, do people like look at y'all, like, do you feel like you get
but that's
stared
racism,
when you go out?
Yeah,
that's
like
racism.
Well, okay, so let me explain. Okay, so I've learned too, and we even like had this conversation and discussion, like when we're walking together, of course we know that I'm black, she's white, whatever. So it's that instant contrast, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's something that sticks out. Another thing is, sometimes people are going to look at you, but it's not all the time. Like, it's not necessarily a bad look. It's just what you think in your mind.
They're not used to seeing it.
Right. So if someone's like staring, it could be because, hey, that's a beautiful thing, but they might look mean.
Right. So
or it could be people that
I definitely suffer from resting bitch face.
Yeah.
So
people like stare and they'll smile, or people like you know, different things like that. So even when I go out and eat with them and stuff, and I'm the only black person there, people on the outside kind of probably start to wonder, what's my position? Like, am I the best friend? Am I the adopted son? Am I the boyfriend? Like, no.
Adopted son.
Yeah, because that's the thing now.
They really just be coming up with everything.
Yeah, so people probably wonder, like, you know what I mean? Like, they probably be like, oh, okay, well, and then they start to see once we get, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm huggy and lovey-dovey. Then they're like, oh, okay, well, now we know. So we've definitely both experienced looks and different things we walking from when I lived in Florida. Even when I would be here, when she would be here, and then like Oklahoma, of course, you know, but not not all the time in a horrible bad way. So that's
okay.
Have I experienced racism?
Well, has anybody ever, you know, spoken there, like said anything to you, like while you were out? Like, did y'all have had random people be like, why the fuck y'all together?
Yeah,
or
this was a couple years ago. I went to Oklahoma for like a vacation. I was out there for like 4 days, and we went to go get like a pizza or whatever. So we went to the place to go get a pizza, and then we went to like a Wawa here, but it's called Quick Trip down there. We went there, and before we get out of the car, we parked, and we talking. Me and her just talking in the car for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So the lady that pulled up beside us is basically like making like gestures, like hand gestures and finger moves and stuff like that. So I'm looking at Shelby. She's in the driver's seat. I'm in the passenger seat. So I'm looking at her, but I could tell by her face expression that something behind me was like off. So I turn around and I look the first time, and I'm like, oh, whatever. Maybe she got her headphones in or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. We talking. Then Shelby made another face, and it was like, she was like a weird face. It was an uncomfortable face. I turn around. This lady gets out of the car, comes around to the front of Shelby's car, and start going like this and saying stuff that we couldn't hear. It was kind of muffled in a way. So then we stopped a little bit closer. I'm sorry. So then we stopped at the Quick Trip to get the soda or whatever. Shelby's like, no, like don't go in, like just don't. So you know me, that hood sense kick in, and I'm like, no, that's exactly what I was like.
You ain't tell me what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Wait, was she white or black?
She was white.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't know which one.
Yeah, she was a white, like,
because you know we can be assholes too.
She was a white middle-aged woman. And I'll never forget. And I opened the door, and I went in there, and I ended up cursing real loud in the store. Everybody in there, like, that was white, stopped. It was like, I'm cursing her out, like, I'm saying the N-word. I'm all like, I know she wanted to say the N-word to me, so I'm this close in her face. And I'm like, if go ahead and say it, I'm gonna knock you to F. Like it got real intense, and within like 10, 20
she
seconds.
Went home. She cried.
That lady jetted out of there so quick, right? So me being the real nigga that I am.
She probably had to leave because she was about to shit on herself.
Probably.
So then I had paid for the soda. At this time, I'm still inside. Shelby's outside. She gets outside because the lady kind of scurry. So she's still like trying to say stuff to Shelby, but Shelby's in the car. So Shelby being a ride or die chick, her middle finger was like, fuck you. And I was like, ooh. And then the lady left. So we talked about that after that happened. And I could see where some other races might be like, oh, well, this is why I wouldn't want my daughter to.
Right.
Because they don't want to go.
Because they're crazy-ass people.
Because they don't want to necessarily go through that. But I feel like if you love something, like, it's worth fighting for. If you love and care about something or someone, like, it's just worth fighting for. Because if she could have been like, oh, no, I can't do this. I don't want to date you anymore. That type of thing. But she's never been that type of person. Like, she has a mind of her own, and that's something I really, really, like, love about her. Because there's people out here who just be like, oh,
follow the trend or follow what other people think before they really.
Yeah. So and another thing is she don't like me because like.
Because you're black.
Right. Yeah, she liked me because of who I am before I had my money or before I had whatever I had. It's like she was just real supportive and always there. And so shout out to you.
Okay.
Hey, Shelby.
Shelby, shout out to you.
Shout out to you, Shelby. You the GOAT, huh? But so.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that
was.
But what people, and the sad part about it is, in being black and in certain situations, it's like, obviously you don't want your child to go through something like that, you know, being a white parent. Right. But it's like, these are issues in the world, like, and y'all don't realize that when you're sheltering yourself from it, but you're not doing anything to change it. Right. It's like, okay, I don't want my baby to be in that situation, but it's fucked up that he has to be in this situation just because of the color of his skin. Yeah,
and I love her.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the life that you're living.
They're not like that
every day because you were born this way.
Yeah,
right.
Because I feel like people here, of course, like have stereotypes of like Oklahoma and just think it's like, you know what I mean? And some of the stereotypes.
Because that's not somewhere that I would go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
some of the stereotypes, right?
Yeah, because I would think I'm afraid to go to like places that almost sound too white,
like Alabama.
No. Yeah, because it's not because I'm uncomfortable around white people, but it's because I'm afraid that I'm gonna get killed. So like if we in a group of white people from Philly, I'm straight. Right. But if we in a group of white people from North Carolina or down south somewhere, I'm gonna be scared to death.
Not used to seeing it every day or seeing a certain type of human being every day.
Right.
It really triggers some people's minds, and it really could take them to a place and be like, whoa, like it was never ever.
I feel like I'm like so used to getting looked at by other races that I just don't care no more. So, like I'm like, yo,
I mean, because in life, you know, like we're all slightly different type of people. Obviously, we're sitting here, you know, on a podcast or whatever the case may be. But we've all been through the whole you talk white and you this that and just from other black people.
We've been through that. Can I clarify that?
So how do you feel when people say that you are like
you're trying to be white or something
or
like
that? You're less of a black man because like you're looked at as like probably a weirdo. Like they always look at like the weirdo type of black men to be liking like other people outside their race and stuff like that.
I say it comes down. Sorry.
Like you know, just how just touch on it and see like how do you.
I feel like it comes down to ignorance, and it comes
That's
down
all
to,
it is.
and it comes down to education. Because if you think about it, like you're going to pick up wherever environment you are. You know what I mean? So people say the same things that they hear their family members say or whatever, but I understand if someone would be like, oh, you talk white or whatever. Like, I've been a person that said that before about something, and then, but I had to correct myself and be like, listen, like, you can't talk a race. Like, you can talk either educated or not. You know what I mean? You can talk ignorant or not.
Right.
Ebonics or slang or not. You know what I mean? So it's all on that. And I'm a person that do both. Like I can be educated, but also if I come back here and I'm talking to certain people,
you know how to
I can talk slang and say my stuff.
Yeah, and it's nothing wrong with ebonics and things like that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But when I speak, just because it's a little more proper than how you speak or how the people around you speak, does not mean that I'm white. It probably means, like 9 times out of 10, it means that I just got my diction is better.
Yeah.
Like, it just is what it is.
And
like,
you know how to,
and that's
to
important. Like,
throw more words around and use more synonyms rather than just use the basic.
Right.
things
And that's
of
the sad. That's the
You
sad
know?
part is
I've
that
been
so many black
experiencing
people
this.
act like
I've
that.
been
Like,
experiencing
say
this
that.
lately. I told Noyae the other day, like, I've been saying some words and people
It was
like,
an R
so
word.
slow,
What was
so
it? What was
slow.
it? What was
Like,
it? Residue.
Residue.
Fucking
Yeah.
residue.
Like, we were like
Residue.
just having a conversation.
Residue is word of the day.
Right.
For damn near people that's in their 20s.
Use it in a sentence. Like,
Residue should not be word of the day for nobody in their 20s.
So I'm like, yeah, so she like, we were talking about somebody eating and be like, oh my, and I was like, oh my God, like she still had all the residue on her lip probably, like it was nasty, right? So I'm laughing, so they like, oh my God, they're laughing at the fact that I said residue, but I'm laughing at the fact of the joke that we're laughing at. Like,
FYI, residue around your face means the crust around your face. If y'all didn't
For those
know.
who didn't know.
Yeah.
Which they fucking should though. Like, and I curse when I say that because you should.
Yeah.
Like, why are these things not normal? I just didn't think that it would be a big word for me or a big thing for people to say stuff like that.
And that's the sad part though.
It is.
I don't know. It's just me knowing, I guess, different stuff. I don't really like notice that.
But
until
look,
it, like,
but
comes to my
also too,
attention.
like if you think of people who like if they never been out of their environment, and you've been to college, you have a degree.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? So
But
you
I
had
knew
to-
the
we
word
had to-
residue since way before
But I'm
that.
saying like
that's a
if their
childhood
parents
word.
never use it or they never, you know what I mean? Like just little small things, then they probably just be like, oh, I never heard of that word.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if somebody come up to me and be like, oh yeah, like I had like diverticulitis or something like that. You're like, what? What is that? But you never heard it or you never know anyone who had it.
Yeah.
So then you're just like, oh, well, what is that? You kind of want to know.
It's crazy because I really know what that is.
I really know what it
my
is
mom
too.
really
Cause
had
you're, yeah. Well, I mean, I
Y'all
went to
funny.
school too, but yeah.
But I don't know. I think that is a shame, but it's also, a part of the education system that people grow up in.
Agreed.
I just think it's
Because
like,
you learn how to spell residue before you learn how to spell restaurant because it's a shorter R word.
Right.
Like, I mean,
That's
honestly,
Yeah.
it's a shame.
I just think it's a lot of people on the outside just looking in that don't really fully understand the concept or fully understand how it is to be in a relationship like that, because it is hard still, even in today's society, period. Like, because everyone's minds isn't changed. Just because the rules change and the laws change don't mean that people aren't still teaching their children
That's a good one. That's a good
their
one.
different generations these hating or these hated things that have been going on in history. Like, some people are so traditional where they don't change nothing.
Right.
And they just teach more generations to come. So I just feel like it's just a lot of, like you said, it comes down to the education, because you need to know or enlighten yourself on this different stuff and how people are just people. And you can't just look at them and be like, oh, like, why would like that black man be with that white girl? Like, and it's always like from back in history where white men was always trying, or white women was like blaming black men for raping them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like that type of stereotypical view that people have because that was what was normal or normalized back then for that.
I think I agree. I agree with you like 100%. I think
definitely.
people like history in some ways will repeat itself, you know what I mean? And you can't change people. You can't change people's ways or what they're set in. But what you can do is like just kill them with kindness. That's the only thing I could think of. Like kill them with kindness and show them. Like I used to be like, oh well, in my brain I used to be like, okay, well I'm gonna prove to this person that I'm not what they think I am. To me, I'm not proving nothing to nobody. You're gonna either A, get to know me because you want to get to know me, or B, don't be around me.
Or mind your business.
Yeah.
Because it's really none of your business.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
reality,
But I
though.
mean, even if I get the looks, or I feel like, sometimes she'll pick up on looks too. And I love that she picks up on things
Turn
too.
that
like
shit into a game.
I'm like, this is what we do. We got a game a little bit, but like, we'll see. So I always we would call ourselves from like 2013 when we first met, like Team Interracial. Like, right? Yeah. So when we see other interracial couples, it don't matter what interracial couple they're in, but we'll just be like, oh, look, Team Interracial. Like, we'll just tap each other, like, oh, look, Team Interracial over there. We'll be like, we'll do stuff like that.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I mean, but I do that when I go out of town to like a majority white situation, you know what I mean, or place or whatever. I'll be like, oh, look, there go a little piece of pepper in the salt.
Yeah,
like,
I said that.
You do that
I'll
when
like
you go
make
to
a joke out of it, like I'm the
places.
only chocolate chip around here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel
like this cookie dried in a motherfucker.
the,
We got just one chocolate chip.
The
like,
white people now is like our generation. is so down to earth that they're like, you know what?
Even if they haven't experienced it, they're willing to.
Right. They're like, it's so cool. You know what I mean? You're funny. You know, sometimes it's okay to step outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that some people take chances and do that.
Right.
Because that's how we all.
That's the only way that we're going to get to understand each other's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to see life from
both ways.
We have empathize, whether it be a positive empathy or a negative empathy. Like, it doesn't matter. We have to be able to understand what somebody else is going through.
Right. It feels good when other races or cultures, whatever, kind of want to get to know some insight on yours. Like, even me wanting to know more of how white people operate. I didn't grow up with white people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so they do things differently. Like, she'll break it down and be like, you know what, we might do this instead of this. Like, let me give an example. Let me see. Like, okay, here's an example, because I feel like white people are politically correct and they're nice. So it's us, like, we'll be like, oh, that person is ugly. Like, you ugly. Like, you know what I mean? White people will be like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You're peculiar looking.
Yeah, very interesting. It's nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an interesting
Yeah, exactly. So it's like more of like, we don't want to be rude and hurt your feelings, but we want to let you know you fucked up at the same time.
But I think that partly comes from, and I don't want to dig into, go too far off subject and dig into like environment too much, but I think that comes from us being a people who, like, we'll bid on each other. Like, that's a family thing. Why
they don't know what bid is. They don't know what bid is. Bid in Philadelphia, because they don't know. This is for everybody who watching. So BID, bid in Philadelphia, means to joke on something or someone.
Play the dozens, if you will.
Make fun of someone.
Yeah, but that's a good one for
roast.
It's like roasting on somebody.
Right.
But we do it 24/7 here.
And I think that's why we just recently, like, in our generation, it was rare to see a kid come home and be like we all got bullied.
Yeah.
Like, everybody got bullied.
Accepted it.
Yeah, it was a regular thing. It was so rare to see a kid, like you hear about a kid killing themselves or something like that. And that wasn't us. Now we're seeing kids
social media,
start to
do
stuff like that. But bullying for us, everybody got bullied constantly, all the time. But it was a fun thing.
AOL, and MySpace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what we had.
Social media was light back then, and you had to have a computer. People still had parental controls.
Right.
There was a lot of things that were still regulated with parental control. So even if your parents didn't put it on it, if you put your birthday in, you wasn't getting on certain websites and
stuff like that.
Fact.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely a different time, but I know for sure, like, growing up, we never heard of anybody committing suicide because they got teased, or even just a child doing it because they just were unhappy. Like, it was, that wasn't us. Now we see it, but that really wasn't us.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that also is probably why we are the way we are. We be like, man, your haircut is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like somebody kill my haircut or something, I'd be like, oh, all right. Like, if I see it too, I'll be bidding on myself. Like, oh, well, yeah.
You right.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you get. You right.
Like,
you got that one, but I got you, bro.
CD player
like,
in the back of my neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody started bidding on it, I'd be like, all right, come on, big girl. Like, but I'll bid too and be like, all right, it is.
But that also, that, like, exercise, the bid exercise, it also lets you know when you've gone too far. Like, when you've actually hurt somebody's feelings and stuff like that.
Agreed.
Like, and I think it's a lot of it is all out of love.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the bullying that used to go on from white kids was out of hate in a way.
Y'all seen
you know what I mean? Like, putting gum in people's hair and stuff like that. That's a different level. We were never like that.
We never did physical.
Well, first, as black people, don't touch the hair. Like,
but I mean, even little stuff like tripping somebody or putting their face in it. So I saw that stuff like that in movies and stuff, and that couldn't go down at our school.
Yeah, facts.
I mean, and this is stuff that's been going on with them for generations. So I definitely think it's a difference in why they talk like that and saying like, oh, that's an interesting sweater versus, dog, that sweater ugly as shit. You need to take that off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it never got that far with us.
100% real. They just try to hide the main event. And it's like, we don't be like, I'm just gonna tell you,
right?
Like who you think you is?
Yeah, because we were raised to just be you. Like, don't worry about what other people think, because one, the world already hates us anyway. You know what I mean? So if you worry about what everybody think, you're never going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for them, it's a bit different, which is why they, do things in a way where, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Like where we going to be real whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
you know what
black
I mean?
people, we always think something is about race though. Like too, like even though you see a white person, they like mean to you, you instantly be like they're racist. Like
See, what I mean? don't, but I definitely know some people.
I know people who do. Like so you just you be like, no, they're racist. Like you like no, they just.
That's not the first thing I think about, but if it's something that escalates, I'm gonna start thinking it after a while. And it's just like, all right,
especially if I don't know you though. If we're just at a restaurant or something and you acting like a nut for no reason, then that's gonna pop in my head. But if you my friend or something like that, where I know you and I like, even if I seen you around, I don't even gotta know you, but I seen you around, I know you be around us and all of that type stuff, and I do something to give you a problem, then obviously I just gave you a problem and I'm wrong, whether I want to admit it or not.
Right.
But if you persist in a way where it's like you picking on me, then I'm gonna be like, oh, they got some type of chip on their shoulder.
Right. But then if we see a black person in a restaurant or whatever acting crazy stuff, we just be like, they ghetto, like they niggas.
Yeah, like, but that's us prejudging too.
Right.
It's just
exactly.
a different look.
Saying,
it's just prejudice because it's us.
Right.
You know
so
what I mean?
prejudice. This is interesting too that I want to talk about. Being prejudiced and racism.
It's two different things.
Right. And I think people don't understand that concept all the way.
Yeah.
Like
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of black people, and this is not necessarily my take 100% because I do believe that black people can be racist, but I know a lot of people that believe that black people can't be considered racist because of the history of this country, but they can be considered prejudiced. Mm-hmm. Now, me personally, in certain situations, I will definitely prejudge, but that's because I have I've gone through things with white people. You know what I mean? So like, it's certain situations that I'm gonna look at, or certain types of white people that I'm gonna look at and be cool with, versus other types.
Right.
And that's me prejudging. I'm not racist because if it's two types of white people in the room, like if you got the rocker white guy, and then you have this super country redneck, so to speak, type of white guy, I'm gonna go hang out with the heavy metal, the rock guy, because I just know that, in my experience, they've been much more cooler being around black people. Right. You know what I mean? Than the redneck guy. That's me being prejudiced, and I'll own that. It's not something that I'm 100% proud of, but at the same time, like I said, I've had situations that kind of tainted me or given me some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder in certain situations, which sucks, but it is what it is. Nothing I can do.
It's also the image that the society created for those type of white people. Mm-hmm. So like you said, then there's like other types, like where the white collar white people, and then they have like trailer trash white people. It's just different categories, just like they have different categories for us black people.
Right.
I just think that there's something that just all ties in with each other to make everyone even think that way.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a difference in racism.
I also don't think like stereotypes aren't too far-fetched from the truth in some ways.
In certain situations, absolutely.
In certain ways.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like the fried chicken and Kool-Aid thing, like I've never met a black person that didn't like Kool-Aid. Yeah. At one point in their life. You might not like
They might not like a whole lot of sugar, but they like Kool-Aid regardless.
As you get older, you might not like it because you drank it all your child life.
Right.
At some point you had experience with
If that's all a person got at their house, you probably gonna take it. You ain't got no issue with it. You'll take Kool-Aid over Hawaiian Punch any day.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll take
Especially
Kool-Aid. I don't like Hawaiian Punch not that much.
It's just not it.
It's just not there.
Yeah.
But touching back on what you said about the differences of you being like how you said that they will say it's interesting instead of telling the truth.
Right.
So I know a lot of people are concerned with interracial couples on how you will raise your children, like in the future, and going on and how you will be a family, with these. As y'all being two different types of backgrounds and cultures and things of that nature. And it's not even just with black and white people. It's with like Chinese and Italians or, like
Indians and
black people or something like that. Like it just all types of, interracial things. So just touch on how you would raise your children. Because I know some people like, we're going to raise them this way and then this way.
I honestly think, because like every parent says there's no rule book to parenting. Mm-hmm. And I agree with that. But I think it comes down to foundation and religion. Like if you set a foundation for your kids and then you let them know like who they are up front early, that they're raised, that they're brought up that way, then it's like, okay, then this is who you are. You know what I mean? Like we were raised like, we knew that we were Christian, and we knew that we were, you know, we went to church and we did stuff like that. So if you don't have to go to church all the time necessarily, but if you raise them up to let them know, hey, so you say grace before you eat. You do those type of things, setting a foundation so they know, you know what I mean, that there's a higher power if the person believe it, not just me, I'm just saying other people, then that's a foundation that your kid can grow up on. Also letting them know that they are two different races. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, think of it as like ice cream. Like, would you some people like chocolate and vanilla on there. It's like some people like, you know, mint and chocolate chip or whatever. And you going to get both. Why? Because two is better than one. I don't just want one scoop. I want two. You know what I mean? So if you kind of put it in that way, when you have your kids and say, hey, you're black and you're white, or you're this race and this race, then you can kind of be like, hey, well, two's better than one. That
but
type
I
of thing.
also know, like, I noticed, like, I did have some friends growing up that were interracial, you know, people, you know,
Children
dad,
or whatever.
like dad being black and mom being white. So I had one friend, you know, growing up, and she was like more in touch with her white side than her black side, and you can just tell, you know, just the way she would act, you know, and stuff like that. But you can tell that she was mixed. So I always just wondered, like, how would that come about? Like, do you just evenly teach, like, you know, like if y'all would start a family, but y'all would live in Oklahoma, so your children would probably be more around that culture type of, you know, them, like, you know, compared to their black side. And I know, like, some people had issues in the background where they denied a side of them because they didn't, just based off the fact.
I work with somebody now who denied it, so like, I know exactly.
Just because they didn't grow up with it or they don't know about that side, they just automatically deny it. And the
sad part is I know so many people. I know a couple of, like, I know a lot of biracial people from, you know, different countries and things. And the sad part is that they almost always say, I didn't have to even think about it or pick a side until I came to America. That's the sad part, is that it's just this place. Like, you know what I mean?
I like what you said too, because that's a good point, because you're going to probably gravitate more towards whoever you're around more. But that doesn't mean that you still shouldn't know your history, or you still shouldn't get to know your other side of the family, whether it's black, white, whatever it is. Because I feel like for me personally, like, I'm going to get to a point where I'll be doing like summer visits, like with my kids and stuff, so they can get to see my black side every summer. But I feel like internally anyway, you're going to feel more of a side more than the other. Like, I feel more related to my mom's side than my dad's side. Not saying that I don't love them any less or whatever, but it's just, this is who I've been around my whole life. I grew up with. It's the same thing. So I definitely understand that, and I know people who are biracial, like you said, and they deny one of their sides. You know what I mean? And they act like they don't. They even think that because you're on the black side, that it's ghetto. And I'm like, you can't say stuff like that, because you're saying everybody who's black is ghetto, and that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So even if you're white and you're black, I tell people all the time, it's say in the Bible anyway. We ain't gonna get all churchy now, but I'm just saying in the Bible it says you are what your father is, right? So if your mama is white and your dad is black, then you're really black when it comes down to it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like some people have identity crisis because they're biracial, and that's another good point too. But then that's when it goes back to like the foundation. You know what I mean? Because if the parents split up, the mother or whoever the kid lives with, the mother or father, you still should let the kid know
that they have
who
absolutely,
they are.
Because that's a responsibility to your child.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It's no reason why you should have I saw that too. There's no reason why you would have an interracial child if you're afraid to teach them who they are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because that's a duty you owe to that person that you brought into this world.
I think some parents too, like even if it's the white parent, like can get mad at the father and never want the father to be in it. You know what I mean? And that automatically creates an identity crisis.
But even still, that's you know, whatever. Like, those situations happen whether you're black or white.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is I brought this baby into this world, and she's obviously different, and I have to make sure she knows why, and I have to make sure that she's comfortable in that, because she's not really different. You know what I mean? Right. But society will give her issues, you know, he or she. So it's like, as a parent, that's like having a daughter versus a son. if you have a son, it's your duty to let him know how to shave, or it's your duty to teach him certain things, versus if you have a daughter, it's your duty, you brought this child into this world, it's your duty to let her know how not to be bleeding on herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing to me.
Yeah.
It's a part of bringing someone into this world and your obligation to them.
Absolutely.
Now, sometimes parents drop the ball, but
because y'all have a different
culture. It's just a different thing.
It's just easier for people with the same culture because it's like both sides are going to get the same thing.
Yeah, and we ain't got to worry about that because you know what you want.
But I will say that now it's starting to feel, now that I moved to Oklahoma and stuff like that, it feels more natural. You know what I mean? Versus like me first moving there, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get to know some of these other people that I've never met before, and get the skepticism and stuff like that. It's like, okay, like everybody loves me, I love them, and we all just get along, and it's like a beautiful thing because it reminds me of like the whole race, human race type of thing, not just like, oh, you're black and I'm white. It's like, who's not gonna state the obvious? Like,
the crazy thing is when I like. Because you're in Oklahoma. I've never been in Oklahoma, but I see more interracial couples down south. Like when I go to Virginia to visit my dad, I see that so much. And I mean, every race. I mean, Asian people that speak Spanish, stuff that you rarely see. Like I see that so often when I go other places, but in urban communities,
it's not.
It's like it's still like, oh my God, you with a white girl, or oh my God, you with a black girl.
Like,
yeah.
But see, I think maybe that comes from us being the people with the shoe on our back. So it makes you, we're constantly told that we have to uplift our people and we have to do this and do that. Whereas, other races can kind of just live. So when you're, of another race, y'all can just be together. Whereas if somebody's with a black person, you're going to get the looks. You know what I mean? If a white guy is with a Spanish girl, she doesn't get the looks. If an Asian woman is with a white guy, they don't really. I mean, somebody might say something, but it's not that serious. It's the black and white thing that America brings.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? It's a shame.
They have that thing
because we accept Spanish too.
Right.
You know I mean, you don't really see people looking crazy at a black and a black guy and Spanish girl.
Because
we're
both dark. They're both dark.
Right, but it's still a different race.
Right.
Now, the Spanish girl's mom, great grandmom, or whatever might feel some type of way about something, but it's still lightweight. You know what I mean? It's for some reason this black and this white thing is just a problem. It's just a full-on nuisance.
And I think it's just because the black and the white thing always been the biggest controversy of this world since the world began. So like that's always going to be the number one racial dynamic is going to be that black and white. Like it's always going to be there no matter what.
I just sometimes when I like get real heated, sometimes I just be wanting to ask people like, when did the Civil War start? Like, I think it was like 1860 or something like that. I just want to be like that because it's a lot of, you know what I mean? Like I'm like the South and the North, like we're all together. Like it's no like, oh, if you're in the South, like it's racist. I mean, it's racist anywhere, but it's not like, oh, you can't date this person. Like I just be wanting to quiz people like. When
do you even know?
Yeah, and then they'll be, I don't know. So how are you going to judge off something you don't even know about? Like, you know what I mean? You don't even know about Civil War. And then if you want to take it all the way back to history, well, white guys was loving on some chocolate. You know what I mean? You're going to be real about it. Like
that's why so many of us does like. Like,
but I just want to know why it's more acceptable for women to date a black guy, but a black guy can't date a white woman. It's not
Wait, say that again.
Like a white woman could date or a black man could date a white woman,
but a black woman can't date. Yeah, I think that's just men being men.
I just think it's just like
along with all the rest of the issues.
It's more encouraging when it be like, oh yeah, you better date that white man, girl, like because they like think about their scheming them. We're trying to get their money because white people are considered to have the money and to be more well off. So they think like they encourage the black woman to marry a white man.
They're like, oh, go ahead, girl.
They don't do the same with the opposite. They don't do the same.
Yeah, they look down on like black guys.
Like other black guys.
See, I feel like it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, and it's just like
personally.
The woman would be like you'll be like an old auntie or something. Oh, why you dating that white girl? All these black women we got out here that's single and all that need help and all that stuff. And why you want to date a white woman? Like,
I feel like that's a part of the issue though, is that it's so like the so-called like black women getting married and things like that is declining, so it's harder to let that go. I think it's harder to just deal with the reality of the fact that
It comes down to love. I mean,
it does come down to love.
Who you love. Like, I feel like so many people, but that's people who are miserable. Like, they waste all that energy wrapped up in somebody else's relationship when you don't have one of your own.
Right, and that's I agree.
So
because if I see two people walking down the street, even if it does catch my eye in a way where it's like black guy with an afro, all these RGB colors on and all of that type stuff, and then you got the white girl that's completely, sheer white shirt tights, booties, like as white as you can be, it might catch my eye, but it doesn't bother. Like, I look at it like, oh, they, opposites attract like a motherfucker right there. Yeah. But then that's it. I go on about my day. But the people who let it mess up their day, I just don't understand that because I don't even know you. Yeah. It's like, I don't know you. Like, why are you still thinking about me?
You don't know what their story is. You don't know if they was even like that before they even started dating. Like, you don't know anything about
and
these
I think,
people,
too, it's like, I feel like some people, I have a friend who, I asked him one time, he's white, and he's a white guy, and I asked him, I said, do you like black girls? Like, would you ever date a black girl or whatever? And he said, no. He was like, no, not really. That's not my type. He's not racist or anything.
Yeah.
We're friends, nothing like that. And I said, well, if you were to date a black girl, what type of black girl would you be? Like, what type of black girl would you date? Type of thing. Like, I was going off skin color and everything. And a lot of them would say, like the Beyoncés, like the lighter skins or the Halle Berrys and stuff like that. And so I feel like I applaud any other race that's dating a dark-skinned
because
female,
dark skin is considered like the bottom of the totem pole type thing. And it's a shame because I want the darkest, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I would be one of those people, but I want a dark-skinned guy.
Yeah, dark skin is like royalty,
I personally can't see myself dating a white person.
Right.
And that's just me. I don't see anything. I don't have anything against it.
Right.
But me personally, I just don't know that. I don't know that I would feel like they really love me, or if it was like an experiment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's something that I have to deal with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I do know. So I have been around. Like I said, I've had issues with white people in a way where it's made me uncomfortable to that extent. So that's something that maybe I need to go to therapy for, or whatever the case may be. Because I might miss my husband because I have this mental trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. But
and I
at
think
the
it's
same
white.
time,
and if we flip it, I think it's white people that's the same thing as you. Like, they might be like, with black. I talk to all kinds of
I feel like a lot of them are traumatized from the media in a way. Because I was never afraid of white people or anything like that. It took me actual physical situations that involved me and a white person. But I know so many, like, I've seen or talked to so many white people who were afraid of black people until they moved into the city.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, if you've never known them, then how are you afraid of them? It has to be the media and the other things that influence society.
And also,
because you've never met them.
And also, too, the parents as well. Like, some parents are.
Oh, parents. I thought you said appearance.
No, parents.
Yeah.
They could be like I said, an influence. Like your parents are your biggest.
But see, if a child comes from a place where they've never encountered a white person, then obviously their parents 9 times out of 10 came from that place.
When a black child never encounters a white person, it's not looked at as differently at all. Like, that black little girl would still go over to a white girl before a white little girl would do it to a black girl if they had that fear, instilled in them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that is, I don't know, like, the way
it's something with it. Yeah. But the thing of I feel like it all comes from the fact that racism in this country was a burden that was given to us. You know what I mean? So it's like that white people came to us and gave this to us. We didn't go to them and give this problem to them. They gave it to us. So in that situation that you're saying where the black girl will go up to the white girls, because we've always had to go up to them because they imposed on us. So we've always had to deal with it, whereas they can stay away, go, they can, now it's like, all right, this you have this black person. We know the images of them in media and society or whatever the case may be. Little white girl, in her mind, she's just not going to put herself in that situation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do you guys feel like as black women, or as being black in general, not just women, do you feel like something is owed to you by white people?
Equality.
No.
Okay, equality.
That's it. You don't owe me 40 acres and a mule.
Right.
I mean, I'll take it if you're giving it away, but
yeah,
because it'll help my people, it'll help my situation.
Like
but
and we had I had this discussion like before, and I kind of broke it down. I was like, sometimes black people, we kind of have this like for each other, like this crab in a barrel mentality, and then we have like, oh, this is owed to me. I'm supposed to have this, versus getting up and getting it for yourself to be able to like, I have this. You know what I mean?
See that entitlement. I don't see that entitlement as a black person issue. I see that as an issue of people, because I know a lot of white now.
Well,
but
I'm
also
for African American, like us.
But I know a lot of white people who literally are just that way, but they come from the richer society. So I think it's like for us, even though we're in a more poor situation, I don't know how these particular poor black people can have that same mentality as these rich, overly entitled white people. You know what I mean? I don't understand where that connects, but in my lifetime, in my experiences, those are the two. Like for some reason, those are the only two people I see with that type of entitlement. It's like you owe them something, and these are not the richest people. These are the children of the rich people, and somehow the black people who have that entitlement are the children of these civil rights people. You know what I mean? And it's like, sheesh. Yeah. It's like, how do you get that?
I don't know the connect. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I haven't figured. I have been trying to figure this out for a while, but I haven't figured it out. I don't know if it's the riches of, I wouldn't know, these black people knowing who they are and where they come from, or whatever the case, and then these white people knowing who they being who they are, and that's the closest I've gotten to an answer on where this entitlement comes from. But as far as equality, and me personally feeling like
I'm all about
that's something we're owed.
Yeah,
definitely, but it's not just us. I see that for Native Americans. I see that for Spanish people, and I see it for white people, because I don't think that they should be knocked out of their box and brought down to us and brought down or degraded into hoods and ghettos and things like that to get equality. But I do think that at some point, you have to get your foot off of people's back in order for them to even climb up there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I understand. Like even with the crab in a barrel thing with other black people, it's like you can say that you can say that things should change, but you have to pay homage to the barrel. Right. It's like these are crabs. Somebody put them in this situation. Somebody took them from their natural environment, put them in a barrel. They're not supposed to be in a barrel.
That's true.
You know what I mean? These people, they didn't choose to be that. Like you still have to place blame on the fishermen who went and got them fish. Yeah, it's like okay, we're here. What do? We have to get out. I see a crab. Oh, he's getting higher. Let me grab him and try to get out of this situation. It just is what it is in that case. But at the same time, it sucks that you are trying to pull down your brother in a way. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like it's two different, ways, because they're not pulling on each other in the water.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we're all in a good situation, what's it to pull on? Right. It's the misery of not knowing what's next, or the misery of not knowing where your next meal is coming from. If you're gonna live past the day, if your child is gonna come home, it's all of that, and trying to keep somebody, in the unknown, and being ignorant to how we can fix this. You know what I mean? But if I see you winning, then the anger comes in, and it's like, well, damn. I still got to be here. I still got to be hungry. I still don't know where my next meal coming from. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if I know that you know how to do good, I'm going to try to keep you with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know how to go out there, and you know how to be. If I only know how to eat fish, and you know how to, catch fish, I'm going to try to be with you. Right. If you try to move on to the next situation, nigga, I still got to eat too. You got to come back here. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of it comes from. I mean, and it's a shame, but
it is.
Like you have to look at the situation. To me, I feel like. And it's definitely something that needs to be fixed.
This is true.
And worked on.
That is a deep, like, whole nother, like, that's like a session.
Yeah, there's a whole nother conversation.
Because that's
right, and we running up on 50 minutes here.
It get real deep, like, but just to, like, go back on the interracial couple thing, I think that, like, now, like, in today's, 2018, 21st century society, like, we have more role models of interracial couples, though, like, in the media and stuff like that. Like, I saw Eve and her husband now, and, like, Tamia, is it Tia or Tamara? Tamara is pregnant, married to a white guy, and, like, Serena Williams. Even those little cute twins, the McCord
and
twins,
the sad thing,
like their mom and dad is like totally different.
They
cultures.
completely
like,
different from each other.
Like a whole,
and they mesh so well.
Right, and
that's the sad part. And their kids are
gorgeous,
amazing. Not even just look wise. Yeah. They're amazing little girls. Like they are funny. They like when they tell them something, they get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's just that simple.
And
like
they practice both cultures, and you see that in those
even like with the hair and
everything. Like even their mom, they make sure they know like their culture and where they're from, and I'm pretty sure the dad does too. Like
and it's just
like doing both sides, like, and I just think that's real amazing. I just think that like we at least see it more, and we see like these people that we look up to or we grew up with. Like we kind of grew up with seeing Tamara and Tia on TV and them. Growing up to be who they are today, like,
and that to me, there's something great to see. Obviously, God had a plan because you have one that's with the black guy, you have one that's with the white, like they're twins, and they have both sides of who they are in that situation because we see them as one.
Right.
So to see that you can have this and have that, and it's sad that because I saw an interview with them and Tia was talking about how she always gets the whole, oh, well, your sister did it right. She married a white guy. And Tamara was saying how she was like, dang, that's crazy because I get the opposite. I get the people who are like, why would you go outside your race? You doing yourself an injustice. Like, it's black all day. Like, and it's crazy to think that you can't win in that situation.
And I feel like that's why you got to live your life for you. You can't live your life for other people.
Exactly where we were.
Because it don't matter. Like, what you do, somebody's always want to hate and just say something negative because they're miserable.
Absolutely.
Like,
that goes back into raising your child with the confidence to be who they are and accept who they are
100%.
because, you can't please anybody for real because you just can't.
Yeah. Let them live their greatest life. Like,
and mind your motherfucking business.
No, seriously. Like, and I just think that if
that's
the
all
world
it
would
is.
be a better place if people really
just
mind their
business.
Because why does it matter who this person loves? Like, why does it matter?
It matters to them because they ain't getting love.
Skin complexion. Like, it doesn't, like, I just feel like all that doesn't matter, but I feel like this whole interracial topic
it matters to people who are haters because they're the only ones who really like
this is true.
Care.
Yeah, care and think so deep into stuff that they don't have a life of their own. So you got those people who do this, who be trolling all day.
All day.
Yeah.
Oh, well, why is she doing this or why is she doing that? If you so caught up in social media all the time, you're a person who can't mind your business and you don't need to be trusted. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's just man, I think that people just need to like love each other more. Like it's too much. It's 2018. It's too much killing. Like look at Chicago. Like I ain't trying to go off topic, but it's just a lot of killing, a lot of hating, a lot of like disrespect. Like a lot of the elderly people are just like what is going on? Like it wasn't like that 30 years ago. You see what I'm saying? Like the 80s and stuff. They was just like it was okay in the 80s.
Right.
Now it's like 2018. And people are you just walk in the street, I don't even know you, bow.
It's because I feel like that comes from pure ignorance, like so much ignorance. And because ignorance brings fear. When you don't know something as an adult, you usually become afraid of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or you get angry because of it. It's like you trying to figure this puzzle out and you can't figure it out. You get mad. And if there's a dark room and you don't know what's in there, that's the ignorance of not knowing what's in there. You're scared. Yeah. Those are the two things, in my opinion, that comes from ignorance. I say in my opinion because, it's not proven. But when I see it, that's what I see. Right. I see ignorance bringing on fear or, anger. And it's just that simple. Like,
man, that's crazy.
I just think like this topic goes real deep. I learned about this in school, like in just interracial couples, and you know how it's just a box that you're placed in. Like, we're all placed in these boxes and these titles and these names that was given to us, and with these stereotypes that was attached to us from the time we were born. Like, so when you do grow up and you marry into another race, it's just more things just added onto you with these boxes and stereotypes and labels. So it makes your life a little bit tougher to go through, but you can also try to juggle and make a statement with it along the way. Like, you know what I'm saying? To make it known that it is possible and it is something that happens.
What's interesting to me is I feel like she's marrying into my race because I'm like the man and she's gonna take on my last name, and you see what I'm saying? And so her father, you know, respectively has to give her away to me. So I love her family, and like, but in all reality, like, she's marrying into mine. Well, we could be fair. We're marrying into each other, so let's not be like weird.
Well, yeah, because you're but see, you're already there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So it's just like, I feel like she will get to know, and like I love the fact that she's like, hey, like this upcoming Thanksgiving or Christmas, like we need to go see your family this time, because she may not really like Thanksgiving down there, but she know I love Thanksgiving with my family. So she's like, well, I'd rather go here because it's just more.
Because Black Thanksgiving it's an event. It's a whole event. Like, I
was like, you just have a good time.
You gonna have homegirl. It's gonna be, y'all gonna bounce to like 4 different houses. Yeah. Y'all gonna eat. You gonna taste every shade of macaroni and cheese. Yep. You're gonna be eating leftovers, ham sandwiches for months.
They gonna take something back with you on the plane. You gonna have turkey sandwiches, turkey salad, all that back on the plane.
TSA might tell you can't take it so they can eat your platter. Because it happens.
Black people never give over leftovers. They make new meals out of the,
oh my God. Yeah, you gonna eat turkey soup. Like I said, you're gonna have ham sandwiches for the next 3 weeks. You're gonna have.
Until a point you have to like throw it in the
But the macaroni and cheese gonna be going though.
Yeah.
The macaroni and cheese gonna go that day.
The leftovers really do last.
Never macaroni and cheese leftovers.
The leftovers really do last for like 3 weeks to a month. Like, you be like, yo.
You be like, I can't eat
It's to the point where you just throw it in the trash. And then your mom come looking for it. I'm like, Mom, all right, now it's old.
Like,
they just give it up. Like,
and don't let it be like your grandmom who, listen,
she's like, what
I eat pork.
Do is freeze that. And you just take it out the freezer.
Freezing the greens. We gonna freeze the greens for Christmas.
You have it. Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You have it so long as Christmas. Like,
you pulling stuff out the. You ain't got to buy no more. But just buy one thing of greens, just a little bit of greens, because I got some left over from Thanksgiving that we gonna thaw out, and I just recook them and mix them in. And won't nobody never know.
But Shelby, that's just a little taste of our culture
it's gonna be lit.
Come from.
Shelby, we love
I am happy that you are being invited into our family, because I am his cousin and we are family.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that you are being invited to our family, and to know that side. We are accepting people, and we are, this is something new to us too. So we are hoping to learn from you as much as, learning from us.
Absolutely. Now but you gotta be understanding of the bid though.
She is understanding.
It's probably gonna happen.
She know how funny and crazy I am. Like,
but he gonna set you up though. He gonna know. Bring Nikes. Don't come with no Diodoras and nothing like that. Something weird that we ain't seen in a long time.
My baby gonna come. Hold on. My baby's gonna come classy. She gonna come with the case-made dresses. She gonna do her thing. It's like, no,
but that's cool. See, that's cool though. Yeah. Because she got you to reel her in. Yeah. And for y'all's sake, ain't nobody gonna bid too hard.
Right.
Well, we got an aunt that's gonna bid hard.
Yeah. That's funny.
But it'll be all fun.
All a fun learning experience for everybody, for both sides, and even with those families, getting to know each other, on a deeper level, with the adults, and we eventually can, all hang out
and bring a good flavorful dish if you decide to bring
stuff like that.
Because I stopped by and tried something new.
I don't know what dish you would bring.
I think this podcast was real interesting.
Yeah, this was.
And I think it was like just to get a little inside scoop, on someone I really know.
It don't matter, black, really white. It's Philly versus everybody. So
yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I don't care where I go. Like, I'm always gonna have like the Philly mentality. That's not the horrible one, but just like, yo, I'm gonna do what I got. I don't care what you say. Like, that confidence that we just have.
And that's not even a Philly thing 100%. That's an urban thing.
Yeah,
period. Because people from New York, people from Chicago.
That's true.
When you're from the so-called concrete jungle, in a way, I feel like you just have that you know, it's whatever, bro. Like
that's why I love the hood. I love the hood because it make you who you are and who you're not. Like
it absolutely,
you know what
absolutely.
I'm saying?
I agree with that 100%. Like,
yeah.
And how can I explain what I'm thinking? Like, it puts you, it teaches you, or it puts you in a bad situation and a good situation. Like your survival skills and being able to go from left to right or rich to poor or whatever. You get all of that,
and it make you
know
figure out like if
you don't
someone's
get
getting
to be
over
around just one type of person growing up in
like if somebody trying to get over on you, you can be like, no, like you trying to scheme, like you know what I mean?
And that's what you get growing up in it like that. That you don't grow up so green, like you're not such a rookie at everything.
You be like, no, you trying to get me? I'm not doing that. Like, blah, blah. You know, you speak up for yourself, then people be like, oh.
Yeah, they be like, oh, he ain't naive at all. Like, but that's city living, but that's why they say it's faster.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they say it's because even outside of
you really do.
And I know kids being like that grew up right outside, like Bryn Mawr, Westchester, and Paoli. They don't even really know how to cross the street.
Right. No, seriously.
I'm dead serious. Like their schools literally have days where they take their kids out into the city and the parents have to they chaperone, but you don't know that, like they're hidden. They're just in the stores, like they're ordering something. But they let the kids roam so that they can get a gear on certain things, and the teachers will give notes to the parents like, oh, he crossed the street without looking, and I had to stop him. Because now you got to jump. You obviously, if they go into harm, you got to jump in the way.
How old are they?
These kids were like 11, 12. Wow. I mean, these were kids that when we were their age, we were already getting on the bus by ourselves, going to school and things like that.
When did my mom let me cross the street? I was like 6 or 7 though. Like my mom was like, you ain't crossing the street.
Yeah, you learn that from a child.
I'm about to say, but you learn just from cross the street from your mom with your mom.
Yeah.
How to cross the street.
Yeah.
Like, my puppy know how to cross the street.
Age,
my dog is 1. She knows how to walk when the light turn green.
Like,
but a lot of that is just city living and having to encounter it over and over. Those kids, when you go out to certain counties and stuff, they don't even have streets. They have a big enough space on the pavement to play with the ball.
Their friend's house around the corner and be at the park till 11 o'clock and then go home. Like, you know,
right? They don't get the whole look, when the lights come on, you better be on this step.
Yes.
Or on it, whatever your parents set for you. You can't go past the third house, which is
or that
tree
on the block.
And that's what we have to live with because of, we're coming up in the city. But those kids don't get that.
I don't think kids in this new generation, I don't think they do that no more. They don't have that.
Because they ain't even outside.
No. Yeah, that's true.
It's a shame, but they ain't even outside.
That's true. Well, thank you guys for having me. What's your op? Shout out to y'all.
We're coming up in the game, Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.
Y'all better like, comment, and subscribe.
We need those views, to get up. We're working out here, grinding. And I just think we're getting more comfortable. And I think, we made progression so far. Like, I feel like I was real comfortable with this podcast. As I do more, the more comfortable I get. Like, we still looking for more criticism, put those out there, any topics to talk
throw
about.
Them comments in, let us know.
Put it out there. Help us grow. Prosper with us, please.
Yeah.
So.
And if y'all bid on me, I'm bidding back.
And that's just what it is. That's just
the number one rule.
Oh, thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Go ahead, shout out your Instagram and stuff like that one more time.
Oh, yeah. So you guys can follow me on Instagram at sweater_king. And then also you guys can check out my photography website. The link is in the bio, so you can check that out and just, hit me up. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I do travel. So hit me up on that.
Obviously, because he's in Philly right now.
Yeah. So, yep.
And my Instagram's _beautifulday. Follow me. Let's go.
We don't ever say our Instagram. And I'm Noyae on Instagram, all one word, MAINE, NOYAE.
All the links will be there, so just click on it. Y'all can understand what
there you go.
In the description box.
Yeah.
Definitely. And for the people that's listening on a podcast, we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we just gonna keep on going from here, trying to get better and better. Let us know if you like this topic, because we can definitely do a part 2. Even though we touched on so many things as it pertains to race and
fly me back out here. I'm just joking.
We can remix it up, know.
Yeah, y'all
maybe
can-
next time we'll find a white person
I was
who's in a
about to say
relationship with a
that.
black person,
Yeah.
or you know,
Yeah.
Or
something
just
else.
have both of them here next time. To
Yeah.
get her side of it.
Right, and
You know?
I tried so hard to find someone. I just couldn't find it in the small amount of time that we
Yeah.
had putting this thing
'Cause
together.
This was like unexpected.
This is definitely
so I'm
spur of the
glad
moment.
that we did it and it was able to be done. So.
Yeah.
Hey.
With that